To Dr. Mensch, the radio show that takes a real, compassionate look at mental health from A to Z. Join child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Gil Lichtshein each week as we explore topics that matter: autism, ADHD, anxiety, depression, OCD, schizophrenia, behavioral challenges, neurodevelopmental disorders, and more. No stigma, no judgment. Just honest conversations, new therapies, breakthrough treatments, and real solutions for real people. Mental health is not a weakness. It's a treatable medical condition, and help is available. Join the conversation now by calling the studio at 888-994-4995, Studio A. This is Dr. Mensch, where hope and healing begin.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshein, aka Dr. Mensch. I'm a board-certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. I'm located in Boca Raton. My office is at 7100 West Camino Real in Boca Raton. Phone number 561-300-4052. I hope everybody's had a good week. This week we get to celebrate our 250th birthday of the United States of America. And, this past it's going on about, 2.5 weeks with the World Cup. We've had millions and millions of, visitors from around the world: Europe, Asia, Australia, Far East, Africa. And it's been great because, you see on social media and these, visitors who just have fallen in love with the United States. Today I was listening to on the radio on Fox News a poll that came out. I don't know who conducted the poll, but they were saying that today only 33% of Americans feel patriotic and proud of their country, which is kind of sad. I know a lot of that is probably very politically driven, and that again, depending on what political persuasion you are, there's sides where really they kind of espouse a disdain for this country, but you have all these visitors who really are just in awe of the United States, of what it has to provide the people, the beauty of this country, the luxuries. Even Bill Maher, on his show on HBO on Friday nights. I don't always agree with everything he says, but he's a very practical. I kind of look at him as like an old school Democrat. And he even, in his monologue to end the show, was talking about the World Cup, and was talking about, millions of visitors, and really to say that, with this 4th of July coming up and a 250th birthday, and a lot of people are poo-pooing it, and a lot of it is because of political reasons, because of people, I'm going to say it, not liking President Donald Trump. And this has nothing to do with the president. This is celebrating this country. It doesn't matter who the leader is, and it shouldn't. But Bill Maher was saying, the Europeans, Asians, Africans, South Americans coming to this country, and like he showed a little snippet from Instagram of, I think it was an Englishman who was like in awe of Walmart, people in Costco. There was a Japanese having Texas barbecue, and they're like, oh my God, we've never seen this. And people falling over ranch dressing, and Bill Maher was like, we got a pretty darn good country here, and that this country is pretty darn good, regardless of what's going on, and that I think Americans have a lot, we take a lot for granted. I even had a close friend of mine who was talking about how, he feels like this country's in a bad place. A lot of it has to do with political, landscape. And he's talking about, I'm going to move to Italy, within 5 or 10 years I'll be in Italy. And I said to him, like, dude, that's fine, but, every time I go to Europe and spend, like I was in Italy for 6 weeks 2 summers ago, and I loved it, but, when you're away from home and you realize there's a lot of comforts that you miss when you're there. Like, I had an Airbnb and it was freaking hot and the air conditioning sucked, and I'm broiling. And then you don't have to worry about that here. Toilet paper, toiletries, a lot of things that they don't have Costco or Walmart in Italy. So there's a lot of things that exist here that don't exist anywhere else. And I told my friend, like, okay, you enjoy being there for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. When you go there to live there, it's a whole different story, and you're going to miss what this country stands for if you do ever move there. So if anything, this World Cup has really given opportunity for the world, and even to see, like, okay, this country isn't as bad as maybe the media makes it seem like. That this is a pretty darn good place to live, and that we as Americans should be proud of this country and what it has provided us. And there's a reason why people want to come here. And the only people that talk about wanting to leave here, to me, I think are miscreants. They're like, then get out. If you think it's, the grass isn't greener on the other side. And if you think it's bad here, every country has their own problems. So you might not like the political landscape here. Well, there might be some political or social issues in some other country that you may not like. So I think people who talk, badly about this country should think hard before they, just make these statements. And on that note, I have, Freddie Santori here as my frequent guest.
The only thing I tell you is that the Meadowlands were using buses to bring in people from Penn Station to the games. And the Knicks were just winning their deal, and somehow a couple of buses got torched. But that wasn't typical of New York. That was a gas leak. Just saying.
Oh, the other day, I didn't, I knew that on Saturday you had Colombia play Portugal at Hard Rock. Well, they renamed the Miami Stadium for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Apparently, they cannot use these corporate logos or names that are not affiliated with the World Cup. So Hard Rock Stadium is now Miami Stadium. So Friday, I live in Fort Lauderdale, and so I'm driving down Las Olas and Federal Highway area. My God, like, streets were closed. There were thousands of Colombians, and there must have been some type of like FIFA watch party, even though the match wasn't until Saturday night. But there was some major, Colombians in their full uniforms, Colombian flags, proud. It was unbelievable.
300,000.
Unbelievable. I'm going to say this. I had to go from literally maybe from my condo. I had to go somewhere to run an errand, maybe 2-3 miles. It took me like 35 minutes because there was just streets closed, traffic, people. Oh my God, it was unbelievable, and it was just great to see, the fervor for the World Cup. And you don't have to be into soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, but you might argue that these games are boring and too long and not a lot of action, but the crowds, wherever you see it on TV, Miami, New York, Atlanta, LA, San Francisco, where else? Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, I think that's in Seattle, and then you have, there was crowds in Mexico and Canada too, but we're talking about the U.S., and I think, Boston, and Philadelphia. Did I miss anything? I think that's it. But like sold out crowds.
But the watch parties are
and
tremendous.
I know. Then I was watching on all the Miami stations on Saturday, watching all these on Brickell, downtown Miami, huge FIFA party of Colombians. Bayside, or on Brickell, you had all these amazing parties. You don't see that. You're not going to see that at the World Series. Especially if the Marlins you're not going to see a World Series watch party if, let's say, it's the Cleveland Guardians against the Pittsburgh Pirates. No one's going to care. But you have. I can imagine what's going to be like here on Friday when you have Messi and Argentina playing think they're playing Cape Verde Islands, the smallest country with a World Cup team that actually advanced to the knockout stage, and Messi playing for our MLS team. It's going to be crazy.
There's going to be plenty of people there. You know, I was in New York when the Yankees and the Mets played in their respective playoffs. The Mets were playing the Dodgers. I don't know, the Yankees are playing somebody.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
okay.
And I went, when the Mets left to Los Angeles, the watch party was in the stadium.
Oh, it's
I got in for $10, yeah. But there were no watch parties, not like what happened with the Knicks. And somebody told me that's because the Knicks are the entire city.
Right, correct.
Not just partially.
The Knicks are, you know, when it comes to like that, right, like the Knicks are, you know, encompass all of the 5 boroughs, right, versus if you're in the Bronx, you're a Yankee fan.
Exactly. But if
you're in Queens, you're most likely, almost certainly a Met fan.
Yes.
If you're in Brooklyn,
who knows? You're a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Right. If you're in Manhattan, you know, could kind of be divided.
Either way.
But right, when it comes to basketball, it doesn't matter whether you're in Staten Island or the Bronx. You're a Knicks fan.
Now, do you think as the Marlins were to be in the World Series with all of the energy that's being shown now with the sports and the watch parties and in the news, because when Trump was at Madison Square, they took away the watch party around MSG. That opened up another 50 watch parties all throughout the city. So it backfired on them that they wanted to control it. They just opened and put gasoline on that. You don't see that happening, though, here in Florida.
I would say if, let's say, well, now that the Heat got Giannis,
that's where I was going with that.
And let's say, you know, come the upcoming NBA, that the Heat, let's say, make it to the finals like they did a few years ago with Jimmy Butler, perhaps. Or if, let's say, the Marlins, I mean, you know, the problem with the Marlins, I mean, I don't follow the Marlins.
They're not bad.
But they're 4 games over 500.
They're not bad.
I don't, other than Sandy Alcantara, I don't know anybody else on that team, but apparently their second baseman or shortstop leads the league in hitting and leads the league in hits. Their shortstop, second base combo, I think both of them are like top 5 in hitting.
But the league doesn't really have anybody except the Dodgers winning consistently.
I mean, the Marlins don't draw, but I mean, apparently they're a good young team.
Yeah.
If they like play the way they're playing, and come September, they're, you know, in the wild card, you know, they'll probably draw more attention. But will there be watch parties like for the Knicks or for the World Cup? Probably not.
Probably not.
But if, let's say, come early September, they're 10 games over, 15 games over 500, and they're like right in the thick or leading the wild card, or maybe even contending for the division, yeah, there's probably going to be, you'll probably see on the news, certainly, you know, in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale market, there might be the top story, maybe even up here in Palm Beach, you'll see them as well. But there'll probably be more people going to the games than, you know, 10, maybe there'll be 30,000 as opposed to 10,000. But if the Marlins make it to the World Series, yeah, I could see that, you know, being like a top story, especially for a team that, you know,
they're not supposed to be there.
Not supposed to be there.
Now, I wanted to ask you a question. The soccer ball that they're using. So I saw them, they put in a chip, a computer to charge it. They're charging the soccer ball from a computer.
Wait, using the World Cup?
Yes. Do you know why?
No.
They put a chip in it. It's a chip that's in the center of the ball.
Let me guess, to be able to detect how fast you kick the ball, or how the speed, or
offsides.
Oh.
They can't get downfield fast enough.
So
to determine if it's
helps
offside.
Like the VAR.
Yes. That's why there's no arguing this year, because they hold up the machine and it shows you right there if the ball says you're offside.
So it's kind of like the analogous to the in baseball when they started using the automated balls and strikes.
That's right. And in football, they are talking about putting the chip in the ball to see whether or not you cross the plane for the touchdown, first downs, all of that
Or
stuff.
what about also, if let's say is it a catch or no catch?
Did it hit the ground, or was it held on to for the
Right.
1.2 seconds?
You know,
or
all the
whatever?
thing about like, oh, they maintain possession and all that stuff. Oh,
All of that has
interesting.
come by because AI now is in the game, and they use the offsides.
What about and then in basketball?
I haven't heard about a chip in basketball, but I know that football is coming. I know it's in soccer already.
I mean, baseball, we have it with the automated, the robotic umpire.
And it's made a big difference.
Oh, absolutely.
The balls and strikes. But can you imagine if they use American football, now they put a chip in it, and you'll be able to know whether or not they cross the plane, whether they fumble, whether it hit the ground, anything with the ball. You can't get away from it no more.
The next would be hockey. Imagine put a chip in a puck. And then basketball, like, I guess, though,
I don't see how in basketball they'll be able to use
yeah,
it.
well, I don't know how they would use it. It's like you either make the shot or you don't make the shot.
What they're thinking about in basketball is, in football they have the lines now, and they have those two cones. So if it breaks the plane, you know it. They're thinking about the out of bounds, the lines.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are saying that the calls, the game is so fast, the guy may step on the line, may not step on the line. And then they going the other way, and they're trying to put an end to that. But the fans in basketball are practically on the court.
Yeah, I can't, there's no other sport where literally, right, the fans are like, I mean, yeah, you see like under the stanchion or whatever they call it for the basket, like you have fans and like players like literally, fly into the stands. I mean, you see that sometimes in baseball when they're going for a foul ball,
Yeah.
but right, in basketball, you're right. That's probably the one sport where fans are literally like literally like you could actually like listen and hear what players are saying because they're like literally right there.
The game that the Knicks did with the historical comeback, the last play when he lofted in, well, the fans sort of creeped in on the guy that was bringing the ball in. Harden was that he threw the ball high, and Cat still got a finger on it to change its trajectory. The fans were creeping in on him. He had no place to go. I mean, come on. And the ref is standing right there. He says, as long as he has 6 inches. 6 inches? You got 100,000 people behind you, 6 inches from you? Come on, that's home cooking right there. But the game has changed. It is so fast. College kids coming out of football, so fast. Everything is changing. Soccer is so fast. They can't keep up. So they put the chip in there so they can see whether or not the right call is being made on offside. Strange.
No, this way you don't have any, you don't want like a championship match or game to be decided by some sort of controversial
100%,
call.
100%.
And so, if it means taking a few minutes break to check to make sure the call's made, you do it. And on that note, talking about taking a break, we will take a brief commercial break.
What happens when the mind of a healer crosses over into the darkness of the human soul? From authors David Icovetti, Dr. Gil Lichtshein, and Yolanda DeLuca comes a chilling psychological thriller, Dr. Mensch, A Prescription for Evil. This gripping novel follows a respected Boca Raton psychiatrist who secretly descends into madness, transforming into a modern-day king of the underworld. Inspired by true events and Dr. Gil's childhood connection to a mob family, this story blurs the line between sanity and evil, genius and destruction. Unforgettable, disturbing, impossible to put down. Get your copy today on Amazon.com. Dr. Mensch, A Prescription for Evil, a 2020 psychological crime thriller. You're listening to Dr. Mensch with child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Gil Lichtshein. For a copy of his powerful new book, Dr. Mensch's Prescription for Evil, visit Amazon.com. For more information or to schedule a consultation, contact Dr. Gil directly at 561-300-4052 or visit docgil.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshein, a.k.a. Dr. Mensch, back with Freddie Santori. We were talking about World Cup and, kind of how, the game is kind of fast.
Who do you like to win it all?
I like France.
You said that to me today. You think they're that good?
Mbappe is, I mean...
You don't think Messi could pull it out, Argentina?
You know, I don't know who... I got to look at the brackets, but, I don't know, France, I mean, the other day, who had the hat trick in the first half? I mean, Mbappe, you know, nobody talks about Messi, and I mean, and Erling Haaland, and I mean, granted, those guys are studs, but, you know, Haaland's only 20. Mbappe, I mean, he kind of made himself on the world stage back when France won the World Cup in 2018. That was 8 years ago.
Right.
He was, I think, 19. He's not going to be 28 till the end of the year. This guy is a freaking rock star.
But what about the rest? You got that. Do they play enough defense?
Yeah, France does. I mean, you can't rule out Argentina just because of Messi.
What about France and Argentina in the final?
I don't know. I have to see. I'd have to look in the bracket to see if that could happen. That would be amazing.
That would be an amazing.
That'll be a rematch of 2022. That would be something.
That would be amazing.
Mbappe against Messi.
And Messi, it says he has the world record for goals in the World Cup.
Yeah.
And this guy you're talking about is right behind him, -1?
No, Mbappe has a ways to go. Messi, he overtook, what's his name, Miroslav Klose from Germany. But I don't know who's Klose's retired. I don't know who's active that has a second, or I think it might be Harry Kane from England.
It's somebody, because they said that
I
he's
think
at
11
the
or
door.
12. I'm talking about active.
Yeah.
The problem with Mbappe is I think he's only played in 3 World Cups.
Gotcha.
Whereas Messi has played in, Messi's 39. Messi's played, I think, in like 5, maybe 6. So, you know, Messi has played in more games, more matches than Mbappe.
He's still unbelievable.
But Messi, I mean, the other day, he didn't even start. He comes in the second half on a free kick, like a bullet. I mean, unbelievable. Like, how the hell did he do that?
He's good. He's good. He's actually, I was never a Messi believer, but.
No, he's just turned 39. I don't think he slowed down a bit. Once the World Cup's done, he'll be back playing for Miami, and he's going to, I mean.
What's old age for soccer? Like football?
Well, I mean, Ronaldo is 41, and they're saying that he's slowed down a bit. I mean, I would say probably, you know, late 30s, early 40s, you're kind of already pushing it. But I would say that's the case with, baseball. I mean, all the sports. Hockey.
Yeah, 40 is usually the.
I mean, usually, you know, once you hit 40, it's like.
Except if you're LeBron. What is it, 57?
He'll be 42 at the end of the year.
Is he?
You know, like in December, he'll be 42. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers, who's 42. I mean, Brady played till he was like 45.
Yeah.
Or 44, 45.
He may come back with the Raiders.
I'm trying to think in hockey, you have, what's his name? He was with Corey Perry, I think is 40 or 41. Baseball, who's
in their 40s?
Who's like approaching 40 or like in their 40s? I don't know.
Well, there's a bunch of 38s.
I know, like Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer I think is 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually around. I mean, tennis. Novak Djokovic, he just turned 39.
Serena Williams?
Serena Williams is back playing at Wimbledon. She's 44. But she hasn't played in several years. But yeah, usually, most sports, by the time you're 40, you're kind of like.
It's time to move on. To another sport.
But you have these exceptions like Messi and Aaron Rodgers and even Brady. I mean, he's no longer playing, but.
Those guys are just good in their old age because they're normal.
Yeah.
When they weren't normal, they were superstars.
I mean, I remember Barry Bonds, he played till he was 42. Even in his, forget about whether he took steroids or not, even in his like later years, he was still solid.
Yeah.
But I remember I think he was 42 or 43 when he retired, or he he wasn't re-signed, and then he retired. I still think his last year he didn't hit 45 or 50 homers, but still think he had a solid final year even in his early 40s.
True that. He had some power in his waist and his arms.
Well, probably steroids didn't hurt.
Well,
didn't hurt or certainly helped him.
Didn't hurt him. But all those guys, Pujols.
I don't know about Pujols, but I mean, I still remember when Mark McGuire's rookie year, and then Sammy Sosa, and then all of a sudden, as they're getting into their 30s, they're like, even Barry Bonds. You look in his early days with Pittsburgh in his series
skinny
against Atlanta and the National League Championship.
Skinny
he was
kid.
skinny, and all of a sudden he's like goes to San Francisco, and then he's in his 30s, and the guy's jacked. It's like, okay, something's up here. Same with McGuire. Same with Sosa. They were skinny, like toothpicks, and then as they're getting into their mid-30s, they're like jacked. It's like, okay, something's not right.
Sosa is another one. Remember they caught him with a bat full of BBs?
Yeah.
And it exploded on the field?
I mean, one thing, I still remember Rafael Palmeiro, because I remember I was living in Baltimore at the time, and he was, implicated in steroid, but he never was jacked like McGuire or Sosa or Bonds. So did he use? I don't know. I think that anybody in that era is probably kind of tarnished.
Yeah, and the thing is that they took other supplements with it when it happened.
Right.
So,
but next, we got another about 2.5 weeks of the World Cup, and hopefully the United States will
see if they win Wednesday. You think they're gonna win?
I think they'll beat Bosnia. The Bosniaks are, not a team to just look past, but I think the United States should beat them.
They should. It's a layup.
I think so.
I heard that, and they lost to Turkey.
Yeah, but that was a
saying.
meaningless game, and they played their
They're
second
stringers.
Yeah, so it was a meaningless game. This is different. This, they're going to be. I think it's in L.A. It's going to be
It's in LA. Yeah.
It's going to be a very patriotic crowd. It's right before July 4th. It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be good. Wednesday night, 8
Wednesday
o'clock.
night, 8
Don't
o'clock.
miss it.
Eastern.
Go to a watch party.
Exactly.
Or make a watch party.
Or make a watch party. And on that note, this is Dr. Gil Lichtshein, a.k.a. Dr. Mensch, signing off for another episode, and wish everybody a good week and a happy 4th of July holiday.
Take care.
What happens when the mind of a healer crosses over into the darkness of the human soul? From authors David Icovetti, Dr. Gil Lichtshein, and Yolanda. Thank you for joining us for Dr. Mensch with Dr. Gil Lichtshein, helping you navigate the world of mental health with clarity and care. If you or someone you love needs support, you're not alone. Treatment works and recovery is possible. To schedule a consultation or discuss non-medication therapies, personalized treatment plans, or psychiatric care, contact Dr. Gil directly at 561-300-4052 or visit docgil.com. You can catch us each week on South Florida Oldies Radio and streaming across all social platforms. Until